So welcome. My name is Karen Alston, and I am a board member of the Edgewood Brookland Family Support Collaborative. As you know, the Edgewood Brookland Family Support Collaborative is a community support organization that builds resiliency, self-sufficiency, and healthy futures for the individuals and families living in the communities we serve. Thank you for joining us for our monthly collaborative conversation. We've launched this series to share stories from members of our team, partners, and clients about how the Edgewood Brookland Family Support Collaborative continues to be a community support for everyone living in wards 5 and 6 in Washington, D.C. During these conversations, you will hear how we work with empathy, dignity, and respect, and learn more about the impact we've had over the last 25 years. Thank you for joining us. And today's conversation is with Ed Randolph, Senior Resource Specialist for our Bridge to Housing program. Ed helps build relationships with landlords throughout the city for housing placement services through rapid rehousing and permanent supportive housing programs. We're excited to have Ed be a part of our family and with us here today. So good morning, Ed. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and ask you to start by telling me a little bit about yourself and what drew you to work with Edgewood Brookland.
Oh, okay. Good morning. Again, I'm Ed Randolph, the Senior Resource Specialist over Housing. I've been working with Edgewood Brookland for about 7 or 8 years. What drew me to Edgewood is I used to work for a company. I used to work for Edgewood, but the apartment side of Edgewood. And they started out over in a complex called Edgewood Brookland, which is a Brookland Manor Apartments. And I used to always hear of all the good work. People needing rental assistance. They would say, I went to Edgewood. People needed utility help. They went to Edgewood. There was so much violence going on. And sometime before the police was on the scene, there was someone from Edgewood right there on the scene with that person as they're struggling. So the history that they had behind them, once the opportunity came, I wasted no time coming aboard.
That's wonderful. Thank you. So for those who are watching, can you describe the Bridge to Housing program and why your work matters in Washington?
Yes. So with our program, we have a couple sections. We have the supportive housing section. There's permanent supportive housing where the families have a voucher for the life of them, where their rent will be taken care of. We have the rapid rehousing program where the city pays a portion of their rent for up to a year. And we have IWH, which Iona Whipper. And Iona Whipper is our transitional home where we have young mothers between the ages of 18 and 24 with their children. And with that program, what they do, and I'll tell you about my part of it, when they come in, I meet with them. We find out if they have birth certificate, social security card, and proof of income. So once we establish that information, we then begin to the process of checking their credit. So we connect them with our employment team, which is called Rise Up. And with Rise Up, we come together, we do a credit report, we have them look it up. If there are any issues with their credit, we help them write dispute letters. And if they have things that need to be paid off, we give them different ideas of how to schedule to have payments so that once they have the time to get ready to move, they don't have those issues anymore. And at the same time, they are connected to a job coach. So if they need employment, they're actually starting the process. So all of these things are getting started before they even move into their home.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So
can you share a memory, something that was really impactful of working with someone that you can share with those who are watching today?
Yes. I had a young lady who, she was very young, so she's never had her own place before. But everything we asked of her, she did. And she was so eager because when we don't just send them to apply for units, we take them. We help them complete the application. Once all that is done, we don't send them just to move into the unit. We take them to sign the lease, go over the lease, And then we go to the unit and do an inspection with them and make sure everything is in place before they move in. And this lady, this young girl was in tears because she was like, I'm the first one that had my own place. And so that meant a lot to her. She was so grateful. And that was make this work so important for us.
So I've heard a lot of people use the word resilient to describe our work.
Mm-hmm.
What does resiliency mean to you? And why do you think it's important to the people and families that we work with?
First, I'll say we have a lot of resilient workers at Edgewood. I mean, I've never met people who work so hard for the families that we serve. Resilient to me simply means never giving up. You do whatever you can to make sure your clients have all they need to succeed. And for me, a client, I believe, appreciates the resilience that we have because they know that we're not going to give up. We're going to keep pushing and give them the power to push for themselves so that they can reach their goals. We're not going to abandon them.
That's wonderful. Okay, so I only have a few more questions. For those who are watching this and figuring out how they can help, how do people support you and the work that you do?
Well, I'm gonna say, and I don't know about anything else, but I'm gonna say money. You know, sometimes when you have certain funding, it's for line items, and you can't really do all that needs to be done with straight line items. So if we had outside support that if I can give an example, if we have a contract and they tell us we want you to house a person, well, housing a person may mean we have to help with their security deposit, or it may mean we may need to help with their application fee, or help them pay off an old bill, but they may not allot the money that we need to do all of those things. So if we had extra funding to cover all of the other things that are not thought about, I think that would help us greatly.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, so last question. For those who know nothing about Edgewood Brookland, how would you describe what we do and our impact on the community?
I would say Edgewood is a wonderful place to work. What we do is we think about the whole person. We think about the family, not just the mother, the children, the extended family. We put everything we have into trying to allow our families to reach their ultimate goal. So Edgewood is a place that once we're involved, we're going to work until the end. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure those families succeed. And I'm not just saying it. I'm saying it. If I wasn't working here because of what I've known before I came on board, I would say the same exact thing.
Thank you so much for your time this morning. Thank you for your words and everything you do for Edgewood Brookland. We greatly, greatly appreciate you. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you.